I mean, we have to assume that there's quite a lot going on with Kuwait in the background, because basically nothing new has come out of these meetings from yesterday.
And then question marks must be asked about Kuwait and Oman and Jordan's role. If the situation doesn't resolve itself, which camp they find themselves in. It could be that Kuwait and Jordan say, well, Qatar, we've tried and negotiated, Qatar hasn't reacted or agreed to make any changes, therefore we're going to move from a neutral position straight into the UAE-Saudi court. Likewise with Oman, we have to wait and see what happens there.
Well, Oman is in a similar position to Qatar in that it has long economic ties and cultural ties
and
with,
this is just
with
part
Iran.
Of the different threads and issues that have to be taken into account, which makes a massively complicated situation. What about the North African states, the Arab League and so forth? How do they react to this situation, to Iraq and Lebanon, for example?
But the position, I mean, we're still dealing here with sort of the high politics, the geopolitics of it, and that's a pretty clear position, I think, from the Saudi, UAE, Bahrain, Egypt core. It's to form a security bloc, which is what created the GCC in the first place. So if we're talking about a recreated security bloc versus Iran, that's quite clear. You're either in it or you're not.
Yeah.
So then the question is, what about the existing people? But if we can, I mean, a lot of...
I mean, the contractors are also in a very tough position, basically, because they are bound by their contracts to implement or deliver the projects on time, right? And given all the constraints around it, that doesn't change. So it's, I think a lot of them are adapting to the situation by finding new suppliers or finding new routes for suppliers to reach Doha, which entails a lot of cost, complete the project, negotiate later. I think that's the only option that they can look at, and then exit.
But the question must be, I mean, if you're a company, international company, and someone comes to you and says, do you want to take on this contract in Qatar? Would you at right this moment in time?
No. Very difficult.
I mean, given the uncertainty, I mean, most companies, especially if they were not already exposed to Qatar, would probably not be. It would not be at the top of their list.